Very early on in the life of the young congregation, its members saw themselves as preeminently proclaimers of the gospel and the good news of Jesus. This is all done through what we would call today parish missions. 2 or 3 priests would come to live in the parish to enliven the faith of the people, and it was done by means of talks on the mystery of God's generosity, mystery of God's forgiveness, and so forth. The opposite of that, in a preeminent way, mostly in southern France and near Aix-en-Provence. Today, the idea of a parish mission is more or less a forgotten concept, because it involves coming out night after night in the week, and that day is long gone. When there was no competition and there was no TV, people came out much more easily, and that was when missions absolutely thrived. A parish mission was traditionally a series of intense religious talks or instructions given over a period of 2, 3 or 4 weeks by visiting priests, specialists in the art of preaching. And it included things like religious devotions, daily mass, reconciliation, benediction, and so forth. It was, as it were, a pick-me-up for the parish, held every 2 or 3 years if you were lucky, and arranged by the parish priest, who invited a religious order, redemptorists or oblates or some such people, to come to the parish, move in for 3 or 4 weeks and take over and proclaim the gospel in a new way. There was very little haphazard in staging a mission. It was really well planned. The parish priest began the process, and then the other priests came from outside, the oblates, and made plans, and then the whole thing took place over a period of time. The bigger the parish, the longer the mission went on. Commonly 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes 6 or 7 weeks. And it'd begin in the early morning and go right through till at night. The visiting priests went to the schools, visited most of the homes in the parish, had special nights for the men, special nights for the women, talks for the children, and so forth. Everybody was involved. It was an attempt to revitalize, as it were, the life of the parish and the life of the people. It was by means of such preaching and retreats that people kept the faith alive and well. It's also how the oblates in particular, when they came to Australia, first evangelized the people. They had parishes, but in the beginning, they simply went from parish to parish by invitation, proclaiming the gospel, hearing confessions, saying mass, and so forth. We had some great men in those days. There were some great preachers in the oblates, men like Tom Hall, Billy Byrne, Andy McCusker, and Ned Ryan. These men were renowned for the ability they had to proclaim the gospel meaningfully and sincerely. Today, parish missions are a thing of the past, really, because of TV, I'm sure, in many reasons, but basically, people now tend to have their own way of finding God in the church.